Hi everyone, I'm Anil Sir, your guide at Student Care Center. Get ready for engaging, informative, and fun filled educational videos that will make learning a breeze. Join me on this exciting journey as we dive into the fascinating topics together. So let's get started.
Ever wondered why everything around us has a specific shape? It's because our world is a complex puzzle of elementary shapes. These shapes form the building blocks of everything we see, touch, and interact with. Let's start with lines. Lines can be straight, curved, closed, or open. Straight lines are the simplest, they don't bend or curve. Curved lines, on the other hand, meander like a river. Closed lines form a complete loop like a circle, while open lines don't meet at any point. Now, let's talk about angles. When two lines meet, they form an angle. There are several types of angles. Acute angles are smaller than a right angle. Obtuse angles are larger. Right angles are exactly 90 degrees, and straight angles form a straight line. So, the world around us is full of different lines and angles, and understanding them helps us make sense of it all. Now that we know about lines and angles, what happens when they intersect or divide? Let's dive into the concept of bisectors and perpendiculars. Imagine you have a line segment. A bisector is like a helpful friend who steps in and divides that line segment into two equal parts. It's a line, ray, or segment that cuts another line segment into two equal parts. Now, what if we want to divide the line segment at a right angle? That's where a perpendicular bisector comes in. Just like a regular bisector, a perpendicular bisector also divides a line segment into two equal parts. But it does so at a right angle, creating a 90-degree angle to be precise. It's like a strict teacher who not only wants equal parts but also insists on perfect right angles. So, a bisector. For more fascinating insights, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment. For further help, feel free to contact Anil Sir at Students Care Center on 99990-60986. Bisector and a perpendicular bisector help us divide things equally and neatly. Angles are everywhere around us, from the corners of a book to the hands of a clock. They are an integral part of geometry. But did you know that not all angles are created equal? Yes, angles too have their types. Let's explore these types together. First, we have acute angles. These are the cute small angles that measure less than 90 degrees. Think of them as a piece of pie that you'd offer to a friend who's not too hungry. Next, we have right angles. These are the angles that measure exactly 90 degrees. They're like the corners of a square or a rectangle, perfectly even and straight. Then we have obtuse angles. These angles are larger than right angles, but less than 180 degrees. Imagine you're slicing a bigger piece of pie for a friend with a bigger appetite. Lastly, we have straight angles. These are exactly 180 degrees and look just like a straight line. It's like you've decided to share the entire pie equally with your friend. So, angles are not just corners. They have types, and each type has its own properties. Understanding these types will help us better understand the world of shapes that we'll continue to explore. Are you ready to add another dimension to our understanding of shapes? Let's dive right in. We're all familiar with two-dimensional or 2D shapes. These are shapes like squares, rectangles, and circles which have width and height, but no depth. They're flat, like a drawing on a piece of paper. Now imagine if we could pull that drawing off the page, give it some depth, and turn it into something you can hold in your hand. That's a three-dimensional or 3D shape. These shapes, including cubes, spheres, and cylinders, have width, height, and depth. They're not just flat images, but objects with volume that occupy space. Think about it. A square becomes a cube, a circle becomes a sphere, and a rectangle could become a rectangular prism or a cylinder. So while 2D shapes are all around us in images and drawings, 3D shapes make up the tangible world we live in. Ever tried counting the corners of a cube or the edges of a pyramid? Let's unravel this mystery. In a 3D shape, faces are the flat sides. Imagine unwrapping a gift box. Each piece of paper you remove is a face. Edges, on the other hand, are the lines where two faces meet, like the seams of that gift box. And vertices? They are the points where two or more edges intersect, like the corners of our box. Remember, faces, edges, and vertices are the building blocks of 3D shapes. So how do lines, angles, bisectors, 2D and 3D shapes, and faces, edges, and vertices fit together? Well, lines and angles construct the foundation of 2D shapes. Bisectors, on the other hand, slice these lines and angles into equal parts. As we add depth to these 2D shapes, we get 3D figures and faces, edges, and vertices. They are the unique attributes defining these 3D shapes. For more such enlightening lessons, contact Anil Sir at Students Care Center, number 9999060986. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment. Remember, learning is a two-way street, so let's help each other out.